Hello and welcome to the Craft Beer Corner. For today's beer review, we're jumping into yet again a beer from another brewer I've never had anything from before. So definitely doing good work with Tavour here. They just keep adding new brewers and it's really exciting. You know, I'm down here in Tampa Bay, Florida. You know, I've got a lot of great beer around me, but there's tons of beers all over the country that I've never even heard of that are getting all sorts of hype, and Tavour is basically my inside man to letting me get my hands on them. So for today, we're jumping into a beer from Wilmington Brewing Company based in Wilmington, North Carolina. This brew is called Lemur Party. It's a double milkshake IPA, clocking in at 8.2% ABV, and it's been brewed with lactose and mango. That said, they are another one of these brewers that gives you a lot of information on what they did with it. So before we even jump into the beer, I can tell you for their malt bill, they used pale malts, wheat, oats. So they're really building up on the foundation for that milkshake side to it. Well done. But then they give us a lot of information on the hops, which in an IPA for me is important. They used Warrior in the boil. During the whirlpool stage, they used Mosaic and Yukino. Dry hopped the first round of dry hopping with Citra, Amarillo, and Cashmere, and then the second round with Citra and Idaho 7. So they're really giving you a lot of insight into their process and also understanding where all these aromas and flavors are going to be coming from based on what they added in the various steps along the way. So really, really cool. I absolutely appreciate that, the beer nerd side of me. In terms of label art, just so you know, I'm guessing just kind of a simple label here, kind of their typical branding. I'll try to back that a little bit away from the lights, but yeah, probably a little hard to see, a little washed out. Nonetheless, looks nice. Let's get this cracked gently. All right, we're gonna get this one poured. Milkshake IPA should not be having a problem forming a head. Oh, it's really quite lovely. Yeah, I'm gonna just slow this down a bit. Milkshake IPAs in general form nice heads like stouts and pilsners in my experience. So you can start them out with a little vigor, but then slow them down because it's just going to make a giant mess in your beard. Okay, visually, yeah, that's a nice, thick, occluded. It's hazy like a New England style. It's a milkshake IPA. That's what it's supposed to look like. And this to me is that quintessential IPA color. That is what I picture in my head when I think of an IPA. It's this really bright, brilliant golden yellow. So it's got bits of orange and deep yellows to it. It looks absolutely stunning. In terms of carbonation, this one appears to be reasonably active. Nice mix of really super fine, tiny champagne-like bubbles and some more medium size, small to medium size. Formed a beautiful, lush, creamy head. I can tell you, as I was looking at that, I was already getting aromas wafting over to me, still about a foot and a half away. So let's get right up for a proper sniff. Oh man. Wow. That smells so good. So the mangoes they put in there, you can very, very much smell that. You can also smell just an absolute bouquet of different hop aromas. I'm getting tons of citrus, specifically lemon, lime, orange, and grapefruit. Those are all kind of coming through. In terms of kind of floral aromas, yes, those are in there as well. There's also some nice bits of pine and resin and tar-like aromas coming through on this as well. One more sniff. That's a lot to process. Yeah. Little bit of an earthiness underneath as well. Yeah. I mean, it just smells absolutely fantastic. Based on what they put in the various stages, there's a lot of hop qualities and characteristics coming through on the nose. It smells amazing. It looks amazing. Head is settled down just a little bit here. So we're going to jump right in and see what this one's about. Oh. That is a tasty beer. Oh man. Yeah, this is definitely a more hop-centric, bitter-forward milkshake IPA, which is very much not the norm. And I, for one, am personally pleasantly surprised by that. It's really, really nice. There's a lot of depth and layers of flavor that we're going to talk about here. Before we get to that, talk about the body and the mouthfeel. As you might expect on a milkshake style IPA, the mouthfeel is quite thick, quite viscous. You agitate, it gets even thicker, even creamier. So yes, there's a lot of resistance to this beer on the mouthfeel. In terms of the body, I'd say it feels like a big round medium. It's more or less where I would expect it to feel for this ABV range. You know, they called it a double. Yeah, it's higher than your average, but it's on the low end of double or imperial territory. So yeah, it feels basically where I expected it to for that ABV range. And you know, milkshake's going to add a little extra breadth anyway, so it's in there. It feels right. Both mouthfeel and the body feel exactly right to me for the beer style and the ABV. In terms of the flavor, so there's just a ton that was happening. The first thing I noticed up front was the mango. That opened first, and then it really started to open into this really big rush of all of these other underlying hop characteristics. So some of that mango flavor as well as the aroma is coming both from the mangoes that they actually brewed with this beer, but also from the hops that they chose. And it's no question with the laundry list that they provided, Warrior, Mosaic, Yukino, Citra, Amarillo, Cashmere, and Idaho 7. That is a big list of predominantly high alpha acid content hops. And it's clear they were not shy about the volume and getting those alpha acids extracted into the base beer. It's got a nice bitter kick up front. Now there's a ton of different flavor profiles that come out on this one. There is tropical. We already talked about that. And yeah, there's this nice earthy bitterness kick, but for sure, just as you could pick up on the aroma, that kind of pine and resiny quality comes in. That's really the last quality that comes through. And it's really pairing quite well with that nice subtle earthy underpinning. There's a lot of floral qualities to it, almost like a fresh bouquet of flowers. Basically, they took all of the best major hop qualities, both in terms of aroma and flavor profile, and packed them all into one beer, and the result is just awesome. I am a big fan of this one. I'm going to take another sip, let these flavors intensify, see if I missed anything else, and we'll talk about the finish. Beer has some heft. Mango right up front. The lactose is not overbearing. It's enough to let the mango speak and actually taste like mango. Yeah, then it starts opening into that citrus, citric rinds, citrus rinds and citrus oils are the dominant kind of flavor profiles coming through because it's really binding to that bitter intensity. There is other underlying tropical fruit. There's a little suggestion of passion fruit, a suggestion of strawberry mixing with that citrus, that nice pine, resinous, earthy. There's some herbal notes. There's definitely kind of a lingering citric and resinous quality that is dominant after the front side. And that's what's really driving out the length of the finish. It's intensified on second sip, but where it kind of ends and is going is in a very kind of earthy and bitter forward twist to the end of where the flavor profile finishes. So there is much more strong presence to that pine resinous quality and that underlying earthiness than there is, say, citrus and floral and other type flavors kind of driving this out. In terms of the actual length of the finish, it's quite long. This is a bitter forward milkshake IPA. They were not shy with the hops. They used big alpha acid content hops, and it's evident on each sip. And it really is a very long finish on this, significantly longer than your average. And as expected with a nice big milkshake IPA, it's full and wet and round to the end. There's no dryness on the palate on the backside. Overall, I am extremely impressed with this beer. I am a massive fan. As a first beer from any new brewer and a self-claimed hophead, this is exactly what the doctor ordered. I'm going to take my time, sip on this, count my scores. When we come back, we'll get this beer ranked from top to bottom. All right, so now that we've gotten to enjoy this beer, we're going to get it ranked. Again, this is Wilmington Brewing Company's Lemur Party, a Milkshake double IPA that clocks in at 8.2% ABV, brewed with lactose and mango, and a blend of a myriad hops in various stages. Wilmington Brewing Company is based in Wilmington, North Carolina. So for the scores, I don't need to go through these one by one because this is perhaps the first, if not, it's one of very few that got a perfect score in all categories. So this does get a perfect score of 100 out of 100. So what kind of led to that? You know, I talked about this as I was sipping on it, and when I go to rank my beers, it's after I've run my initial thoughts and talked about what I'm experiencing. Then I sit down with my spreadsheet, I make my tasting notes, I make my notes on all the subject categories, and frankly, this is just about as good as it gets. They nailed every single thing that a double Milkshake IPA should, and everything was really about harmony. I talk about this a lot, the balance, the balance, the balance. You can nail every other category, but if the balance of the ingredients and the constituent parts that go into your beer are not on point, it is going to severely impact not only the balance, but every other subcategory. So the aroma on this, perfect. The taste, it could not have been better. Body exactly right. Mouthfeel exactly right. Finish exactly right. Head retention, the appearance, the whole 9 yards. They just made essentially a textbook Milkshake double IPA. Everything about this, I was craving more. I knew it was special from the minute that I got in first sip. I mean, I could smell it. It smelled great, had a lot of different layers, but they crafted, for my money, the perfect Milkshake double IPA. I've had a lot of them. This one absolutely is at the top of my list. I am 100% going to be keeping my eyes out for more beer releases from this brewer. I got mine through Tavour. I'm sure that they're going to be carrying some more, but this is absolutely top tier. If you're into Milkshake IPAs and you like ones that are just absolutely nailed right in harmony and have a lot happening in it, but everything just works, this is the one I would recommend to date above all others. Folks, that is today's review. As always, I sincerely appreciate you tuning in today. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to stay in the loop when we go live on YouTube, just turn on notifications, hit that bell icon. It's right next to the subscribe button. Until next time, keep it beer, keep it craft. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.